This is Tyson Barrie. You're listening to Missin Curfew.
What's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Fellas, coming to you from All Pass Media in Newport Beach. This is Missin Curfew. We got Collins in the back and Max Pickup, who got a new nickname last night in Vegas. Shout out to Johnny Cornuke. We're going with Mini Pick. So Mini Pick, what's up, fella? And coming to you from North Scottsdale, Steak 44, any other establishment that has a One Rock old-fashioned, the man himself, Jay Swish. What's up, fella?
Fella, what's up, guys? How we doing? First of all, I love the new nickname from Mini Pick. That's unbelievable. You could go short bed pickup with it, mini pick, any way you want, but it's good to be back, Obi, back in the desert. It's still hot as hell here, man. I played tennis today with the Heat Daddy. I took him to the cleaners a little bit today, so that felt good, but it's hot as hell. It's good to be back. Obviously, I was in Utah for that first match, but how you doing, fella? You a little stung? You playing guilty today?
A little hungover, buddy. A little hung cheese, as me and the Fact Daddy used to say. And that heat you're talking about in Scottsdale, I felt it this morning when I walked out of the Bellagio and I was waiting for the SUV that Tom Riley hooks up for the boys, and that sun hit me, and I was like, my God, is that still cooking? It's like, you just forget. Like, obviously you get it because you live in Scottsdale, but I often forget till I get back to the desert or come out to Scottsdale this time of year in the summer. It's spicy, buddy, spicy.
Yeah, it's not perfect, and especially, you battle it all summer. You kind of get into May, and it just starts heating up. It just gets into that season where it's like it's unbearable, and you get out for a couple of weeks, whether you go to the Midwest, you go into the Californias of the world. But October 10th, and it's still 105, like, get bent. Like, it's time to move on. It's time to get that good air around here in terms of, 7-8 months of the year. It's real nice, but yes, right now still, man, just sweating it out. It's been crazy here, so we'll stay with it, though, and we'll get through it, and it'll be all good, baby.
Do you ever get up to Flagstaff? My boy Richardson lives in Flagstaff at Pine Canyon. But do you ever get up to Flagstaff in the summer? Because it's beautiful up there.
I have not, Obi. I've done a couple of trips to Sedona back when I used to have a roommate. But no, I have not gone to Flagstaff. I need to venture up there because obviously Pine Canyon and golfing up there. Demir's, friend of the show, spends a little time up there. And there's other guys, the hockey guys, and even some of the basketball guys like Devin Booker. I know he goes up there. He has a house, so maybe I'll have to get up there and play around with Richie Babe, or if you're in town, we can get up there in the summer. But, yeah, I haven't been up there. You can actually ski up there, too, in the wintertime at Snow Bowl. So maybe I'll be going tips down there this winter because, I like going. I like getting my touches in on the ski runs.
Yeah, do you just go full tips down, let's get her going? Like, listen, when I ski, I get on the mountain once a year now, if I'm lucky. We're going to Aspen for Sheldon Walensky's alumni game, and I usually get on the hill that day. But I stay in the Groom Blues. I'm not going down the fucking Black Diamond. I'm not ducking into the trees. If you boys want to go there, I'll see you at the bottom. The one thing about skiing, Jay Swish, they all go to the same fucking area, right? We're all going to end up getting down there. So, to me, if me and you are hitting the slopes, after we get our Baileys and coffee in the morning, get the kickstart the heart, are you a Groom Blue, or do you like to challenge yourself for the Black Diamonds and get through the trees?
Yeah, I like to work a little bit, Obi, up there. I'm not a guy, per se, Bobby Backwoods, where I'm getting in for the trees and trying to be a hero that way. I just think that's a good recipe to get hurt, especially, again, if you have a couple Irish coffees before. But I do like to challenge myself. I'll do the Black Diamonds. I'll do the doubles. I'm not a backcountry guy, per se, but I like to warm up, Obi, with the Groom Blues, get feeling good, get my confidence going, and then from there, later in the day when I'm feeling good, maybe with a half buzz, I'll get out there and start ripping some blacks. And I like to get a sweat up there. I like to get a workout, and I kind of treat it that way, Obi. So, yeah, I'm kind of both in that sense.
I'll tell you what, the last time I ventured, what'd you call them? The back, Bobby back?
Yeah, like Bobby Backwoods, like the guy that just loves the trees. It's like, dude, relax. Like, that's just a way to tear an ACL or run into a tree and, knock yourself out. To me, like, we played hockey, we played a physical sport for long enough. That's just another way to kind of injure yourself. Like, skiing's dangerous enough. Why throw that in there?
So shout out to my boy Mac L, Jay Liddell. They're both animals on the mountain, savages. Jay Liddell's an absolute savage. And this was a couple years ago. This is when I was skiing more than I do now. I'm a pretty decent skier, and we got a full day. And right near the end, right near our last run of the night, they go, let's go over, duck down the backside here and give it a go. So over we go. We're going to kind of side saddle working over there. And as we work over there and kind of duck in, I'll never forget this little fucking tree branch is sticking out like that. And I just kind of go to move my right wheel, and fucking down I go, fella. Down, the ski goes that way. I go fucking probably 25 feet down that way. And Jay Swish, I'm in the snow up to here. Like, I go to stand up, I'm up to here. There's no chair lifts. It's almost dark. I'm like, my phone's about to die. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna spend the night out here with the Bears. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to hunker down.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, I'm not gonna lie. I think I started crying. I was like crying. I was like, why did I do this? Is this gonna happen? And then all of a sudden, the Lord above over comes fucking Joffrey Lupul flying on a skateboard on a snowboard, and I just go, Loops, fella, and he somehow stops, grabs my ski, brings it down to me. So Loops, to this day, I tell him, I owe him, Jay Swish, if Loops wouldn't have came down there, I was spending the night out with the Grizzly Bears, and it was going to be a long, long night for the Obes.
Yeah, if you made it. I mean, you're a Grizzly Bear in your own sense, Obes. But yeah, that's a pretty lonely feeling on the hill, especially as the sun's coming down and you're there and you're like Tom Hanks in Castaway, just yelling Wilson, just anyone to hear you.
Wilson.
And the funny thing is when you're in that spot, you're in a full panic. Like you're fully in just Richard panic mode. Like you're helpless. It sucks.
No, and I learned my lesson, and I made a promise to myself, and I told all the boys, never again will I ever venture off a fucking Groom Blue. I'll meet you at the bottom. What do you want to drink? I'm getting a hot toddy. What can I get you, fellas? Hey, what do you want? Old fashioned, hot toddy? I got it. I'll put the order in for the boys.
Yeah, 100%, Obi, and you said it yourself best. Like just keep it easy up there. You don't need to make it harder than you. You know, you're supposed to have fun up there. This is skiing. This is vacation. And one spot you could do that I just got back from. I haven't been there, Obi. Have you skied Park City? Like, talk about a parlay if you wouldn't skied in Park City and then watch the Utah Hockey Club game, because not only could you do that, but that atmosphere for a hockey match was pretty electric, my friend.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And you teed me right up. I want to get into your experience there, but I have skied Park City. I love Park City. It's such an easy flight from Orange County. You go Orange County right to Salt Lake. It's another hour and a half up the mountain on a nice big highway. Park City is unbelievable. It's a great spot. You should go to Park City for Sundance, baby. That's what you should get up for that. Good looking single guy like yourself. That's where you want to be. But I love Park City, dude. So we'll do a ski trip. We'll go check out a game. But let's talk about your experience. First of all, like, you're working even when you're not working. Jumped on NHL Network YouTube with Jason Demers. I love the title. George Smoltz, Missin Curfew contributor. I love that, dude. You're a fucking contributor. You're contributing on and off the ice here. So thank you for getting out there and representing the brand. How was it, buddy? I mean, it looked unbelievable on TV, but for you, your family, how was it?
First of all, did you see my tan on that screen?
Yeah,
oh my God.
You were glowing.
I mean, it was like jelly-like. I don't know what kind of filters they had on there. I don't know if I'm that shade of bronze. Like, I've been playing a lot of tennis. I've been outside, Obi, but on NHL Network and those filters, oh my God, I was rivaling jelly. So shout out to JD. He hooked me up that way. Went on NHL Net, did some stuff again for Missin Curfew. Not only myself, but that was cool to get on there, talk to them about just Utah Hockey Club, the night, and then that kind of led into warm-ups where the barn was just absolutely rocking. The tunes were unbelievable. Spicy Tuna had the no bucket on. The boys were snapping it around. It was just a great atmosphere. They had the rally towels as you sat down at your seat. I ran into Shane Doan pregame, talked to him for probably 10, 15 minutes. He's an all-world guy, as you know, and that kind of just went into the night, Obi, in terms of an unbelievable introduction for all the players and the staff, and then the game. Dylan Gunther getting that first goal. It was just a picture-perfect night for Utah, the Utah Hockey Club. I mean, for Mormons and for the Latter-day Saints type people, they had they were buzzing. I mean, the beer sales were through the roof. There was the chug-offs on the screens. Like, the atmosphere in there was electric. It felt like a playoff game. And, coming from the last game with these guys at the iconic Mullet Arena, as I call it, from the Mullet Mega Bowl, I mean, from that to go into a legit National League barn, Obi, it was crazy how much better it was. And it just felt like these guys, that's exactly what they deserve in terms of a real NHL experience. And I think moving forward, those fans, man, they're sneaky loud, and they're going to bring the heat, especially as the Utah Hockey Club moves through the season. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. They're a decent ball club, fella.
Yeah, no, I forgot about the Mega Bowl. Fuck, was that great when you did that. It's the Mega Bowl. The trophy's 20 feet high. It's the Mega Bowl. It's the Flint Mega Bowl. The Canada doesn't even work. The Canada doesn't even work. That voiceover was unbelievable, dude. I remember I hit you up right after. I'm like, that is content gold, my man. Yeah, listen, the first thing I thought when they came out for the national anthem was, first of all, they look great. Kels, the C looks great on your chest, Kels. It looks unbelievable. I just thought, good unis, nice big barn. I thought the barn looked better, and we're going to get onto that when we get this guy a beer, but I thought the barn looked better than I thought it was. But I was just happy for the guys. You know, I love Scottsdale. I hated the rink in Glendale, as we all did, but I was sad when the Arizona Coyotes left. I was sad too, but I was so happy for these National Leaguers to be treated like National Leaguers. We're going to talk about their owner as our show moves on here. They deserve it, man. These guys have worked their balls off to get to the best league in the world, and now they're going to be treated like National Leaguers.
Yeah, 100%, and it's about time. And I just think we'll get into Ryan Smith later in the show, but it shows what good ownership provides, Obi. Everything in business, life, or sports, it always starts at the top, and you know that, and it runs down in a chain reactional figure. So I just think for these guys, just getting acknowledged. I mean, it was even cool, like Dwayne Wade was there. Guys on the Utah Jazz, they're fired up for the buzz. The fans, they had the blue carpet before. Gary Bettman was in town. It just, the overall vibe and what Utah is and what Utah hockey is going to be, and those jerseys are crispy, man. That baby blue, that utter baby blue with the black and the white, it looks clean, it looks mint. So I do think they have something brewing there. And, man, the team looked good. Like a lot of the young guys. Dylan Gunther looked good. Logan Cooley was buzzing. This Kesselrink, defenseman, I didn't really like his game, you know, maybe I'll be honest, last year. But he just keeps showing me that he can play back there too. So a lot of good things coming out of Utah, Obi, and the buzz, my friend, is real.
I'll tell you what, I love their mascot too. Who is this guy? The Bear? He's unbelievable. Yeah. I love him. I love this guy. I want to get drunk with him. I want to take him out, have a time with him in Salt Lake City. Great mascot, great atmosphere. Your brother looked good too, by the way. Your brother was dishing.
Yeah,
he was dishing.
The dishing magician.
Him and Kells were going like they were going like Sedin. They were going like Sedin brothers, my era, 2010 or whatever it was, 2008. They were just going like behind the back. Like I was like, these boys got some chemistry.
Yeah, at one play on the set breakout before Barrett Hayton scored, he tipped a shot in from Sergachev, nicked out the puck right and around his own blue line, carried the puck, pushed the defenseman back, made a nice pull-up play up to Sergey, one-timer. Hayton got the tip on that. So, yeah, he was skating really well. Kells looked good. Barrett Hayton hurt a lot last year for the majority of the year. He looked really confident. He looked good. But you go back to the mascot there, the last thing I just want to touch on that. I saw him down below afterwards before we were going to go say hi to Nick. And this Bear mascot was a beauty. He was buzzing on a hoverboard. Like, how's your vision when you're a mascot and you're basically your eyes covered, and then he's just buzzing like 20 miles an hour on a hoverboard? It was pretty sick.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm all in with the hockey club. We've been all in before the puck dropped in preseason. I'm even more all in after opening night. So, I'm with you. By the way, Hayton, I love that kid. He was the captain of the World Junior team years ago. If he stays healthy, I'm with you. He's going to be a good player. So, Utah Hockey Club and their fans, good on you. We'll be right back at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. DraftKings, baby. Presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crowd is yours, fella. All right, Jay Swish, you're a big offseason signing. Welcome to the first Saturday night lock of the night, fella. Listen, I got more games in the league than you, so I'm going to go first. Listen, I'm going to go with the Colorado Avalanche home opener against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And, fellas, I get it. It's going to be about a minus 300, minus 350. Got to give your balls a tug early. However, if you don't want to put up the scratch for that, I like a little Avs-Oilers parlay. That should bring it down to pretty much even money. It might not quite be even money, but it'll be pretty close. But, listen, if you got the balls to do it, Avs at home money line, and if you want to put in a little parlay with the Oilers to make the odds a little better, I like that as well. They're playing the Blackhawks, the Oilers. But Jay Swish, I just think after the Avs losing last night in Vegas, their home opener, they're going to be flying, fella.
Yeah, I like your little parlay. You're dishing up, you're cooking up over there in the OB kitchen. My Saturday night lock of the week is the Leafs versus the Penguins. Now, listen, the Leafs, they lost last night in Montreal 1-0. They weren't able to muster up a goal even. The big boys, you know they'll be firing on all cylinders, Obes. So I got those guys absolutely taking the screws to the Penguins. The Penguins, man, they look so bad last night in terms of just old, slow. Their new acquisitions, not perfect. So I think at home, Greg Berube firing up the fellas, Austin Matthews, Willie Stiles, even Mitchie Sheets, Mitchie Marner, all these guys, they'll be pumping. They'll be ready for a Saturday night in the 6th. That, my friend, is my Saturday night lock of the week.
Lock of the week. I like that. I mean, yeah, Craig Berube, Chiefs got in there, and I mean, he's keeping both teams off the score sheet early, right? The Leafs can't score. They only gave up one, but I couldn't believe when I saw that. I obviously didn't get to watch the game. I was watching the Rangers at Pittsburgh in the suite with the boys at the Bellagio. I'm with you. We were talking about Pitt. I was talking to T-Rex and Pick. I was like, I don't know how they're going to be. Like, they're another year older. They've brought in veteran guys, and Jay Swish, I love veteran guys. You know that. Yep. But at the same time, it's like, obviously I'm not worried about 87, but I'm worried about 71, and I'm worried about Letang back there. And Carlson's not getting any younger. It's just like, and Jari looked awful in between the pipes once again. So to me, I don't know. I'm with you. It could be a long season in Pitt.
Yeah, I was watching that game last night. I was on the call with an alternate cast. But, yeah, I just think in terms of that team and watching them, now Erik Karlsson, they brought him in. They've had high expectations for him to be on the power play, to obviously compete with Letang, be that number one defenseman. I watched him last night, Obi, the hips and the groins. It looked like he was skating a little weird. It just seems like he's lost a step even. Letang looked okay. Malkin obviously not in his prime form. And, 87, like that's a lot just to put on your back and try to will a team into the playoffs, let alone be competitive. So I'm not sure how this team's going to be. I think it's going to be a long year in Pittsburgh. And Kyle Dubas and Jason Spezza, I think, have a long look at what to do moving forward with this team, because right now they're so in between. Obviously, they want to help sit out, get him into the playoffs. He deserves that. He has the right to do that. Obviously, a guy that's won that many cups, but at the same time, I think you got to look at yourself a little bit in the mirror and be like, okay, what do we actually have here in evaluating your roster?
Exactly, and that's the hard part, right? When you got 87, you're not going to obviously go through a rebuild. He doesn't want any part of that, so you try to just fix this and patch it up on the fly. But like Anthony Beaulieu, like NHLer, National League player, but what I've seen here is he's playing on Crosby's line. Like that's obviously not a great fit. Ricard Raquel, who I watched play a lot out here in Anaheim, just hasn't turned into the player that they thought he was going to be. They got old Puljujärvi, worst style in the NHL on their third line. Lars Eller. I love Kevin Hayes obviously. I love Noah Chari, but it's a veteran hockey club. And we'll see sometimes, as you know, Jay Swish, veteran boys, it takes a little bit longer to get back into game shape and get going. But I'm interested to see, and Kyle Dubas and Spez, they do have their hands full on how they're going to move forward here. So one thing I got to say about DraftKings baby bets is last night I walked in the rink. Dude, that T-Mobile, I never got to play there. Did you play any games at T-Mobile?
I played one game, yeah. It was the opening year, and my God, that show they put on there. I mean, in terms of just pure entertainment, Obes, and entertainment value in the National League, I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I was so loud. I'm in there. I'm with my boys, Riley, T-Rex, Pickup, Moody, Carnu, Kempy, all the boys, and I'm like, how am I not going to tickle the Vegas Golden Knights to win the Stanley Cup here? I go to games, my buddies own part of the team. They know Bill Foley. It's like, I'm going. So I tickled them at plus 1,600. Now I got 5 teams out west I think I got money on. But listen, their back end is as good as any in the NHL. And they put up an 8 spot last night. Obviously, they're not going to score 8 every night, Jay Swish. But we're going to get into some guys here when we're dishing out blue lights, one of the players they picked up in the offseason. But I like their back end. He'll look good between the pipes. And Jack Eichel, man. Eichel was absolutely flying. His stride looked even longer. I think he had 4 apples. This team's as good as anyone is what I'm saying, fella.
Yeah, and you get a guy like Aiden Hill, who is healthy back there. Mark Stone, obviously, with a pair of goals last night. Barbie with 2, and then Vic Olofsson, another guy with 2 goals. But, Obi, did you get there for warm-ups? Because first year, and I can't confirm it now, they had the go-go dancers on the glass, like on the opposition side, kind of trying to distract you before the game. Do they still have the ladies dancing on the glass, or is that something that they maybe kind of yanked and pulled back?
I think they yanked and pulled it back, but I remember the Stanley Cup final the first year?
Yeah.
I mean, they had the showgirls up there from the Rhino, I think they were. They're classier than the Rhino girls. No disrespect to the Rhino girls. But, yeah, man, that would be a distraction. I remember for the Stanley Cup final I'm like, if I was out there for warm-up, it'd be hard not to be looking at these birds that are just standing there looking unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you're only a goddamn human, right? It's just like, what are you supposed to do?
Exactly.
Hey, come on. I know it's the Cup final, but fuck. There's some trim up there. But yeah, that's that team, as you mentioned, Kelly McCrimmon, he is always going to make them competitive. They looked good. They looked fast. And like you said, that back end is elite.
1 through 6, it could be the best in the league. Kel McCarr, I mean, his edges are so good. But the one guy, and listen, it's one game, but Thomas Hertl to me last night, being there live watching him, and I had the ISO cam on him because I think, I was telling Pick and T-Rex, like, if this Hertl can come back and be the guy he was in San Jose, like, there's your second-line center, you're ready to rock. He just looked a little slow. He didn't look like he was moving as crazy cut, but it's only one game. But DraftKings, get in the game, fella. I got the Avalanche at home, probably be minus 350. Jay Swish has got the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Pittsburgh Pension Penguins. Hey, the old boys got full pension on that team. So, Jay Swish, get this guy a beer. Presented by Labatt Blue Light, the Pristine Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so we can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Woo!
Chippewa Street fella. We
Give
mention
me-
it every pod, but you got to give the good people of Buffalo what they deserve.
I'll take a dozen mild wings and give me the biggest, coldest Blue Light you got on draft there, and slide one to Swish, and let's have a time. We got to get there. We're going to get there.
Yeah, a dozen wings, a dozen beers. Doesn't get any better than that. That's the old 12 for 12 special, Opes.
That's the old 12 by 12. Hey, listen, you're going to meet the Labatt Blue people in Pittsburgh in November. Just a great company, and the people that work for them are just awesome. Like, they're just the sweetest, nicest people. My fridge is stocked with Blue Lights right now, and I'm not a huge beer guy, but when I get home at night, sometimes I just crack one, put it in a nice pint glass, and it is tasty. So, Kyle, you were leading the charge here. It's not get this guy a beer, it's get this gal a beer, eh, fella?
Yeah, fella. I was just watching that game, and I don't know, say what you want, but I saw some confidence. She drew up that last play with like 45 seconds left. They were down by a goal, and the head coach just let her do her thing. She was drawing it up, yelling at the boys. They were all focused and totally focused on what she was saying. And I know I just saw some mutual respect, and I thought it was a really cool thing to see.
Jessica Campbell, get yourself a Blue Light. She did a hell of a job. She looked good behind the bench. Sharp little suit on her, so good for her. For me, Jay Swish, I'll set the tone here when we start dishing the Blue Lights out. Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah. Here you go, Smitty. Don't even think he drinks, but if he did, he would drink Blue Light. Ryan Smith, absolute beauty. Get yourself a Labatt Blue, fella. Listen, I was hanging out with them in the summer at Gaza Ranch, and this guy's such a cool dude, Jay Swish. And he's just like, bro, this is not the way I wanted this, but this is what we're going to do. And he's done it on the fly. I thought the rink looked unbelievable for the situation it was in. I love how it said Utah Hockey Club behind both nets. The fans were great. He went on ESPN with Mess, Steve Levy, who's a beauty, and PK Subban, and he absolutely killed it. I mean, his interview was unbelievable. They asked if they're going to, can they win the Stanley Cup? He's like, let's just focus on beating the Blackhawks tonight. He talked about how much he wants to grow youth hockey in the state of Utah. So Gary Bettman, great job. The NHL is lucky to have Ryan Smith. This guy is cool. He's got deep pockets. He's a good dude. Get yourself a Blue Light. The guy's just a G, AJ Swish?
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to spend a little time with Smitty after the game, after the match, and he's just a cool dude, man. Backwards hat, laid back, gives you the time of day. And he actually said that he was texting you earlier in the day because I was like, I just linked up with Missin Curfew and these guys. He's like, oh, yeah, I was texting with Obi earlier in the day. I'm like, yeah, you got to come on. So we're hanging out after the game in the owners/players suite, Obi. And it's like right across from where the Utah Hockey Club, their locker room is. In this area, man, I mean, they had made-to-order food by like 5 or 6 chefs just kind of snapping around whatever you want. They had drinks. They had a little bit of an area up top where you can kind of hang out with family and friends. You can stay all night. And then the coolest thing I thought that he was telling us about was not only do they have like lounge seats, TVs, but there's an area off of this suite that he custom built that has 24 seats that don't register in terms of just being the owner's seat. So like he'll always have those if he has guests in town or whatever. He can bring people to games, and they're kind of just like off the book seats he has in his arena. So it's pretty cool, man. He's an awesome guy, and it's just cool to see him interact with, say, my brother or Kells, and he really cares about these guys and just wants to get to know them, wants them to be a part of the community, wants them to feel at home and a part of this thing as they are. So I just thought he just, in the 20 minutes I was able to talk to him, he was a cool dude, man. And
Yeah.
I'm happy for those guys because they deserve it.
Yeah, and those players do deserve it. There was, a lot of long years in the desert. So those guys deserve it. I'm happy for them. And to the fans of the fucking Utah Hockey Club, good on you. Get yourself a Labatt Blue or maybe an Advil after this game. But $120,000 spent in beer, that's how you set the fucking tone there, Jay Swish, all right? We got hockey in Salt Lake. We're supporting the hockey club. Give me 2. I'll take 2 Blue Lights. Utah, give me 2. I'll take 2. Swish wants 2. 120 G's in beers. That's unbelievable. That's hockey, Jay Swish.
Yeah, that is hockey. And it's good to see the people where you're on the pit, as I would say that night. And Opie, those beers are 3% too. So you gotta be housing a lot of those because it's, at the end of the day, you got to drink 3 for every 2 at stock at 5%. So those people were getting it done. Like I said, the chug off on the Jumbotron. They were going all night. It was awesome to see. The one thing, I'm a hard alcohol guy, Obi, and I'm going to wait till the milk carton to get to this in a little bit, but only one hard alcohol bar in the whole place. I need a little tequila fella. I need a proven upper. Because Jay Swish, I get buzzing, and I know my game, and I need that. And sometimes the beer just doesn't do it, but the good people of Utah were boozing.
I'm with you. The whole thing was unbelievable. Bettman, good job, fella. You got her done. Shout out to Jordan Eberle. Get this guy Labatt Blue. Named the captain of the Kraken. I believe now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every NHL team, all 32 teams have a captain now. That's the way it should be. Eberle, good for you. And last but not least for me, and get this guy Labatt Blue, Victor Olofsson. Listen, I love Buffalo. I talk about Chippewa Street, just go in there, had great times. I didn't watch many Buffalo Sabres games last year. I'm not going to lie. I watched a little bit when they traded for Bo Byram because I love that kid. But other than that, I didn't watch him. 2 goals. Fuck, fella. I didn't know this guy could shoot the pill the way he could shoot it. I was worried about Vegas scoring goals. If Victor Olofsson could keep that quick release going, the first one he shot in, or the first one was a pure snipe. Second one was an unbelievable release too. Get yourself a Labatt Blue, fella. 2 goals in your home opener. That guy's got a National League release, fella.
Yeah, and speaking of another National League release, was out of the Utah Hockey Club, Dylan Guenther. Obviously, you mentioned his contract and how he got paid. He got the thing started, and the party started, as we mentioned earlier, getting that first goal in franchise history. What a release on that one-time shot. So I wanted to toss him, that kid, a Labatt Blue. Lastly, forget this guy, a Labatt Blue. Phil Kessel. You try to play this year. We were trying to, push for Phil. Obviously, he can still play in the National League. We love veterans. We love what Phil can do, the Iron Man himself. He recently just released that he inked a deal with the World Poker Tour. So Phil's going to be on the table. He's going to be on the belt, as I would say. So good luck to Phil playing. I know he loves to play poker. I know he loves to gamble. So it's cool to see that he posted that on his Instagram today. So I just wanted to give Philly just a good luck, Labatt, as he transitions into the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And listen, Phil Kessel's a legend. 3 cups. He's a beauty. But if you put him in a room with people that didn't know anything about hockey and said, is this guy a hockey player or is he on the World Poker Tour? I bet you 9 out of 10 of them would say that guy's on the World Poker Tour. He's not a National League hockey player, right? So,
yeah.
Listen, back in the day, my boy Loops told me they had some monster games on the Berg in Toronto. Him, Phaneuf, Loops, Bozy, National League pots. So, good on Phil. I love it. He's an absolute beauty. So, get yourself a blue light. Good luck. Hey, Phil, be aggressive, eh? Be aggressive at the table. Set the tone. Not many guys are going to have the bankroll. What has he made, 100 bananas? Has he made 100 bananas?
Yeah, he's made 100. I think he's done okay in terms of off the ice, too.
Yeah.
Some of those investments. But, yeah, like you said, go Johnny Chan. Go all in. Just put your nuts on the table, Phil. No, you will.
Check. This guy has alligator blood. Hey, pay the man. Exactly. He beat me. Get that guy Labatt Blue. Jay Swish, it is milk carton time here at Missin Curfew. Listen, I love Sam Bennett. By the way, the Florida Panthers, if you're looking for a Stanley Cup hangover that I was, or a post-Stanley Cup ring hangover, there was no hangover. They came out and they laid the fucking wood to the bees. Korpisalo, I joked, I did a video. Swayman would have waited a couple more days. He could have said, okay, I want 100 million. 88 side, now I want 100 million because Korpisalo got absolutely lit up. I love Sam Bennett. I would take Sam Bennett on my hockey club any fucking day of the week. However, last year in the playoffs, we all know what happened. Boom, little punch to Marchand. I love it. Stanley Cup playoff, anything goes. Maybe it was the difference in the series. It's 5-2. And I will give Trent Friedrich credit. Sorry. He tried to fight Sam Bennett in the first period. They looked like they were going to go. The line he got in there and didn't let him go. However, 5-2, Sam Bennett's going to the net, Jay Swish, and absolutely runs over Korpisalo. No excuses, boys. You have to get in there and just start chucking. You can pick him up or you can jump right on him, but that's not the time for these little push in a face wash. Fuck that. He took your captain out last year. He just ran your goalie when it was 5-2. I'm putting the Boston Bruins on the milk carton. I got him to win the Eastern Conference. I know they have a good nucleus of leadership in there, but to me, Jay Swish, as much as I love Sam Bennett, that's the time where you just shed your gloves and you start chucking.
Yeah, you start the old lawnmower open and you get in there and you just start throwing. It doesn't matter. You throw first, you ask questions later. If you have to eat a suspension, it's one game, whatever it is. It's early in the season. You have to make a statement. You have to just show that team, and not only that team, Bennett, that they're not fucking around. You took out our captain last year, and we're not here to play games. And if that's what you're going to do, especially on opening night, fuck you. This is what we're doing for you. You know what I mean? It's just you can't just go in there and be a little vanilla. Like you said, Frederick tried to step in there early, but I don't think there's any excuses at that point, Hopes.
No, and I love Trent Frederick, friend of the pod. By the way, kid's tough as nails and good player. The goal he scored, a little quick release, was an unbelievable shot to make it. I think that made it 5-6-3 or something like that. But yeah, I'm with you. Or if you want to go with the mentality of, okay, you don't want to grab him, then go out and run Bobrovsky the next shift. Like, I'm talking, this is game 1 of 82. They knocked you out of the playoffs. Like, it's on. This is a rivalry. And to me, for a guy who's got his money on the Boston Bruins, I didn't love it. And then I'm doing it again. I'm picking on this kid, this generational talent, rookie of the year, Connor Bedard. Even though you had 2 points, I'm still throwing this fucking kid in the milk carton. But I'm starting to figure it out. But he did fuck all for the entire 2 periods of that hockey game. I mean, was turning pucks over inside the blue line, fumbling pucks, getting beat physically on pucks in the corners, on the walls, getting abused in the faceoff circle. And at the end of the night, he gets his 2 helpers. But Connor Bedard, I know you don't give a fuck, fella, but I'm putting you on the milk carton. Listen, I think there's more to this kid's game from away from the puck standard and figuring out how to play in the NHL. And to me, he got his 2 cookies. But I thought, you were there, you tell me, he was invisible most of the night.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, he was fighting it early. He was fighting in the first 2 periods. He had frustration. He was banging his stick a little bit on the boards. He was just kind of doing, younger players' things when you are frustrated, right? He's a competitive kid. But at the same time, Obi, I'm kind of looking at who is he going to play with moving forward? Who's he going to play with? Obviously, he was playing with Teuvo Teravainen and that Philip Kurashev a little bit. They were kind of mixing the lines up. Foligno was sliding in some shifts. So it's going to be interesting to see who he ends up playing with this year in terms of, I think that pairing of him and Teravainen works well, but it's like, who's going to play on that other side? Dickinson took a couple shifts with them. So I'm interested to see who Bedard sticks with. I know it's game 1, but ultimately you're going to find some chemistry with line mates in Chicago there. So my milk carton, couple of them here, is I'm going to start with going back to Pittsburgh with Jesse Puljujarvi. Now, this kid, probably a nice kid, probably a good fitted kid, probably loves a good sauna, probably loves his sauna beers, but oh my God. And this might be a little bit on the staff with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can we find a fucking helmet that fits this kid? I mean, is he walking into lids and is his head size for a fitted hat like 9 1/4? Like, what's going on? I got a big melon. I rock like 7 5/8, but holy shit. Like, come on, that helmet is sitting on top of his head. It's like, fella, that thing looks terrible. Like, you got a visor on and the welding shield is only taking care of your eyebrows at best. It's like, holy fuck. So I got him on my milk carton in terms of, buddy, it's the National Hockey League. Like, if you need the triple XL bucket, get the space bucket on, get something that fits you, Hopes, because that just looks brutal.
Hey, he's not good for escrow. I've been saying it since he's been in the league. That guy is not good for escrow. Continues to get an opportunity. Somebody told me over the last weekend that he lit it up in preseason too. I was like, well, that's why it's preseason. But I'm with you. Anytime you want to fire him on the milk carton, fella, I'm all good for that.
Yeah, so I have him on my milk carton. And then lastly, the overall experience in Utah was unbelievable. The one thing I just got to throw on the milk carton in terms of, it's not perfect with their drinking rules. Now, I'm not saying I'm just some big, self-proclaimed beauty that loves a drink, but if I'm going to a game and on opening night and I want to drink hard alcohol, why do I have to go to the 5th level to this tequila bar to have a drink in there that I can't drink on the way out? So I have to finish it before I leave. It just seems like junior prom rules to me, Obi. It's like, I'm 31 years old. It's 2024. Why are we basing our boozing rules off of something, religiously that happened 200 years ago? Now I'm not getting too into the weeds with that, but I'm just sitting there. I go through the line. I get my drink. I'm sitting there with my sister. It's like, okay, well, let's just one-touch these things and go back down. It's like,
I saw your video.
So now I'm getting drunker quicker. I can't even enjoy it at my seat. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah. No, you're right. We got to talk to Smitty about that. Hey, Smitty, listen, fella, we need a little VIP on section 100 here, kid. Hey,
yeah.
I'm with you. And listen, that's the difference between Vegas and Salt Lake City. Last night, again, shout out to my boy T-Rex, had me in the old MGM suite. And this girl was giving me, I was drinking Tom's drink, double vodka sodas. And I mean, Jay Swish, before I was even like done, boom, another one, tape to tape, right there. How are you? And I mean, she put me, I must have had 8 to 10 in there over the course of the game. I left there and was doing the old one eye, getting out, heading to the card table. Maybe that's why I took a beating. But I'm with you. You can't make a guy go all the way up top just to wet the whistle, fella.
Well, and especially it's only going to be a single, too, because they're not dishing out doubles like you're getting in Vegas. So that's just the one thing I think they need to clean up. Obviously, I think it has something to do with the different liquor license. But come on, we got to figure that out. This is the National League. And a lot of hockey fans, well, they like to drink. So let's figure that out.
That's, what do they call it? Corrective criticism? Corrective criticism, is that what that's called?
Yeah, constructive criticism.
Yeah,
yep.
constructive. Thank you. Yeah, we love everything about the hockey club, but don't make Jay Swish go all the way up. But Jay Swish, going back to Bedard, I like Foligno with him. I think Foligno, can protect him physically, and Foligno has enough skill and pace to his game still. Well, not that Bedard plays with an unbelievable pace. He kind of slows it down more than anything. But Foligno has a lot of skill is where I'm going with that. And I think Foligno makes Bedard better when they're together. Another guy, Tyler Bertuzzi, who, you want to talk about bad style. He's got bad style. Had a tough training camp. I thought he got better as the game went on. But as you know, the Chicago Blackhawks were the better team in the second and third period. The D-zone coverage for the Utah Hockey Club was Swiss cheese. I was yelling at my TV. Mac Miller, my girl's like, what the hell's the problem? Like, they're about to cost me fucking $1,700 here if they continue to fucking defend the way they're defending. Protect the middle. Stop and starts. Don't fucking chase. But to me, the Chicago Blackhawks in that second, third period, they got a team. They're not going to be a pushover, my man.
No, I mean, they got a lot of respected veterans, especially that one. You have a guy like Patty Maroon who was actually moving really well on the ice. I thought Patty looked good. He challenged Tuna O'Brien early. I don't think Tuna wanted to, change the momentum that way or give Chicago anything to build off of, especially going up early in that game. Alec Martinez on the back end, proven winner. Opie, and then you mentioned a couple other veterans that they have up there. So, yeah, I think once Bertuzzi and some of these guys figure out, maybe it's different systems, different things going on, settle into their lineup, Chicago's not going to be a pushover, but at the same time, to me, it kind of feels like it's just like an old man's team in there. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of veterans. I'm looking at this roster on the ice. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, it's kind of not has-beens, but it's like just older veterans, maybe on the back nine, I would say politely.
Yeah, no, they're on the back nine. They got a press going on the back nine. They're down 2 with 3 to go. Press. I'll fucking press you. Let's go, boys. Well, listen to this. You teed me right up, Jay Swish. This is the guys he brought in. Foligno and Hall were there last year. Foligno's got 1,156 games. Hall's got 833. But he brought in Craig Smith. He's got 929 games. The Big Rig has 781. TJ Brody, 909. And Alec Martinez, 819 games played. That is a lot of National League hockey. I like what they did. I'll give Kyle Davidson credit. That's a lot of veteran leadership, and that will help a young core. But I thought they looked good in the second period and definitely in the third period. So, Jay Swish, beep, beep, beep. Back up the brakes truck, fella. The boys are still getting paid. Season starts, doesn't matter. Still pay you. What do you want? 7 years? Boom, here you go. Carter Verhaeghe, 8 years, 56 bananas, $7 million a year. I love this. I love this because he probably could have got more, right? He probably could have got $8 million, maybe $9 million. Who knows on the open market, right? No state tax. You got a good thing going there. You're the defending champs. Listen, $56 million will keep the lights on. I think it's a hometown discount, but a fair deal for both sides.
Yeah, you look at Carter Verhaeghe and what he's been able to do, especially in the playoffs over the last few years, Obi. I mean, he's almost a half a goal a game in the playoffs last year. He had 11 goals in 24 games. The year before, 21 games, he had 7 goals to go along with 10 assists, so 17 points. He hovers right around a point a game in terms of the last 2 years in Florida, 30, 40 goals for them. And a guy that's just one of those clutch players. He seems to always score at the right time, especially in the playoffs. So they lock him up at a fair rate, a team-friendly rate. He gets to stay in Fort Lauderdale with his beautiful wife, hang out with his buddies, and chase another mug. So that's a hell of a deal for both sides. And anytime he can walk away with 56 guaranteed, life's okay.
Yeah, and by the way, Bill Zito, this guy just, what an unbelievable job he's done since he went in there. I mean, you got to give, as much as I held a little grudge with Dale Talon because I deserved it one way that year, but you got to give Dale Talon for some credit because he brought in Barkov. But Bill Zito's done a hell of a job there, keeping the guys, getting everybody signed. They looked unbelievable in the home opener. Allmark, 4 years, 33 bananas. That's a great deal for him. This one, though, Joy Decourt, is this guy even any good? I mean,
that I don't know. I mean, he's a former ASU product. He's, the face of ASU hockey. He made it to the National League. I know he's bounced around between Coachella Valley and with the Seattle Kraken over the last few years. He got hot last year in and around the Winter Classic time. So I don't know. I mean, that seems like a pretty good sheet for a guy that doesn't have a whole sample size.
25 bananas.
I mean, that's pretty good.
I know this is good for you, Joey. I don't know you. Good on you, kid. Enjoy it. Fucking treat the boys to a nice dinner. I thought he was like a third-string goalie or a backup goalie. Like, is Grubauer not their guy there still, or am I missing I got to text Disco Dan here and be like, what the fuck's going on between the pipes, fella?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm just looking at his hockey DB right now. So he's got 69 career games played. He's got a 277 goals against average and a 907 save percentage. Last year, he played 50 games. He had a 916, so that's pretty good. But again, that's not that big of a sample size for 25 bananas. But I guess that might be the going rate. Maybe they bank on him, kind of has trajectory showing that he's going to be this number one goalie, and we get him on a bargain. Now, that just seemed like a lot of cash for me. I don't know. Maybe Ronnie Franchise is smarter than us, which he probably is.
Yeah, no, there's 100% that Ronnie Franchise is smarter than us, but good agent for Joey Daccord. Good fucking agent. I don't know who his agent is, but if I'm a young guy, a goalie, maybe call those guys up, because I thought 25 bananas is a lot. But good for those boys. Back up the Brinks truck. Can't play forever, boys. Get it while you can. I'm happy for those guys. Speaking of playing forever, we got Tyson Barrie of the Calgary Flames coming at you next on Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Jay Swish. Jay Swish, I don't know if you knew this, but I was this guy's first D partner in the NHL, so we'll get him to talk about this. But the newest member of the Calgary Flames, ultimate glue guy, good kid. Couldn't be happier for him. Tyson Barrie. Bears, congratulations. You're a National Leaguer, and you're right where you belong, fella.
Yeah, thanks, fella. Appreciate you guys having me on, even though you're 25 minutes late. Not like I was born and some things going on, but anything to make it work.
Sorry, buddy. We had a couple technical issues. Max Pickup's the newest member of Missin Curfew, and we were at the Vegas Golden Knights home opener last night. And, we were hungover this morning. So,
yeah, a little this morning.
Yeah, the camera wasn't working. The HDMI cord was a little fucked up. So, sorry about that. But a little tardiness from Missin Curfew.
It's quite all right.
You played with me in Colorado. You knew I wasn't the first guy at the barn, was I? Right? You knew I wasn't going to be.
You got the flex all going this morning?
I needed some. But Jay Swish, me and Bears makes the NHL. He works his nuts off. Kelowna to Lake Erie. And what is he rewarded with? He's paired with good old number 5 of the Colorado Avalanche. Welcome to the league, kid.
Yeah, and go ahead, Bears. I wanted to butt in quick. Just OB, isn't that the play where Bears like almost went D to you, and it kind of, I don't know if it got turned over, but you got put in the soup a little bit, and then you got absolutely walked. I remember Missin Curfew always throws out that highlight clip, so I wanted Bears to kind of just talk me through what happened there.
No,
I remember. I remember
sure
what happened.
It wasn't a great play by me.
No,
no. Have that one back, but at no point did you need to get absolutely taxed by him skidding.
No, I didn't. And listen, by the way, it wasn't Bears' fault. Fucking Dave Quinn's like, quick going D to D, quick going D to D. And then I'm going to Bears on the bench being like, fuck that, go D to D, slide over to me. So Bears has got David Quinn telling him one thing. He's got me telling him to go D to D. So Bears tried to make the right play, go up the wall, hit a fucking stick. And then I was caught flat-footed, and it was, the rest is history. It's corn dogs, baby. It was fucking Varley went for the poke check, the old Ron Extell poke check, and booyah, there you are, Sportsnet for the next fucking month straight, Jay Swish.
Oh, yeah, that's not perfect. That highlight is all over, especially anytime you see a Hammer highlight. I mean, his paws were nasty as is, but yeah, he dipsy duty there, fella.
Yeah, you know what you didn't see was the next shift I played against Hemsky when I cross-checked him about 14 times. I was like, he's like, easy. I'm like, easy. You just fucking put my jock up by Gretzky's fucking banner up there. You're getting a few more of these the rest of the fucking season, fella.
Oh, that's classic, man. That's classic.
Bears, buddy. First of all, before we get into hockey, I know you're a big music guy. I'm too old now, Bears. I can't. I did do Stagecoach last year with my girl, but I know when you play in Nashville, there's shows all the time. But now that you're a dad, you get chances to still see live music because I know you love going to shows.
Yeah, definitely. With the second year, little tougher. We snuck out to an O.C. Elliott concert, local Victoria band. Good friends, good people, great music. That was about 2 weeks ago, and but in Nashville, yeah, we got to go to a few shows. Me and the Fat Daddy snuck out to Pilgrimage Festival, and then City and Color came through. A couple other good ones, but yeah, like you said, great spot for live music, and it was a fun year on the live music front.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the Lumineers. I know you got to meet them when you played for the Avs. You're tight with them, right? They're one of my favorite bands. If any fellas that are listening out there, if you haven't seen the Lumineers live, fucking Charlie Boy comes on, look out. But how did you get to know those guys? And I guess I'm asking for some backstage passes too while I'm out of here.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it was actually kind of Trevor Gretzky was a big fan, and he was in Edmonton, and they were playing a show there, so we got to meet him after the show. He took him skating on the oil practice rink, and he got chatting with Wes, and was just like, oh, where do you guys live? Yada, yada, yada. He's like, oh, I live in Denver. Trevor's like, oh, one of my best buddies lives there. He's like, you got to link up with them. So he put us in a group chat, and then I went to their show when they were opening for Tom Petty. They played, and then Wes texted me. He's like, hey, where are you guys sitting? We were like 8 rows back, and he just came and sank wine with us and watched the Tom Petty show, and that's kind of how we get to know each other. and then he ended up lived like 5 minutes down the road from me in Denver.
Man, Lumineers right into Tom Petty. How are you? Let's go. Let's fucking go. That would be unbelievable. Tom, he was my favorite. I miss him.
I know. That was like his second to last show, too. It was quite sad.
And Bears, I wanted to ask you, obviously, you got your beer line cooking now, and Wesley Schultz, the lead vocalist there, it seems like he's pretty active as a supporter for you in terms of kind of getting that off the ground. I just wanted to ask you and give a shout out, a little plug to Chili Ones. Like, how did that kind of come about? Is that you and a couple other guys? I know Mike Smith, I saw him up in Edmonton, a few other former National Leaguers. Like, how did you come up with this idea? And the beer's good, fella. The beer's good. It's smooth.
Thank you. Thanks, fella. Yeah, you know what? It was just kind of a serendipitous thing. I put it in my notes, like probably 3 years ago. I wanted to do a beer called Chili Ones, just, for fun, because that's, we were always just screaming at each other about grabbing Chili Ones in Edmonton. And I did a charity show with OCLA, the band I mentioned in the Lumineers, about 3 years ago in my hometown. And one of the guys who sponsored it with alcohol, he was a partner in Nude Vodka Sodas in a can. And I met him there, and then he reached out like a year after the show and was like, hey, do you and any of your hockey buddies want to do a whiskey or a wine? And I was like, no, I want to do a beer. And he's like, tell me about it. So I was like, it's called Chili Ones. It's the most drinkable beer on the planet. It's, we just kind of started talking about design and idea, and he loved it. And then before we really took off, I called Mike Smith, Tyler Ennis, O'Reilly, the Shen brothers, and I was like, guys, am I crazy, or should I start a beer called Chili Ones? And they were like, absolutely, you should. What do you need? And that was kind of the beginning of it, and it's taken on a bit more life than I thought. It was just kind of for fun, but it turns out that's an actual beverage industry with a big business. So we got a bunch of the boys on as investors. There's probably like 20 hockey guys now. Nothing crazy, no big amounts of money, just for fun and having some fun with it.
Yeah, they're good. I hammer timed a couple of them at the All-Star game, at the All-Star festivities. Yeah, at the All-Star festivities in Toronto last year. I walked into the hockey house, Gretzky's hockey house, and the one guy's like, these are Bears' beers. I'm like, fire me a couple of those. I think I banged down 6 quick ones. I was like, those are nice. But Bears, speaking of beers, the city of Nashville, I love my time there. We're going to talk about the Calgary Flames, obviously, but for a guy who spent some time in Nashville, like, how good are the people there and the fans? And I know it didn't go all your way on the ice, the last year, but how much did you enjoy living there and be a part of that community?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, I was sad to leave Edmonton. I thought, it was a great team that was kind of headed in the right direction, as you saw last year. But to be able to land in a spot like Nashville was pretty special for myself and the fam. And then obviously Luke Shen signed there, Factor signed there, Ryan McDonough was there, some great people. So it was a lot of fun. Just a good culture down there, a lot different than what I'm used to. And we had a great little spot in 12 South. We could walk to everything, and really enjoyed my time. Obviously, the hockey wasn't exactly what I would have liked it to have been, but, we're moving on.
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask you about our boy, the Fact Daddy, Ryan O'Reilly, who doesn't mind the odd chili one or a little JMO. But listen, Bears, you played with him when he was a kid. When I played with him, you were a kid, he was a kid. Now that he's turned into the, a great father and a leader and a Stanley Cup champion, like, what impressed you the most in your couple years of playing with him that's just different than when he was younger and the young Fact Daddy?
You know what? I mean, we could sit here and talk about the Fact Daddy all day. We know we love him. But I think just what's really super impressive about him is obviously his work ethic and the amount of time he spends on the game, but I think his belief in himself and what he's doing. He's always been a guy, like you said, who likes a few chili ones. And when he was younger and then playing with him last year, it doesn't seem to have changed much. He's kind of running the same program and doing his thing and just having tons of success doing it. There's no wavering. He truly believes in himself, and it shows every night on the ice. So I just really admire his belief.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, eh, Bears? That's what the Fact Daddy's saying, eh? I always used to say about the Fact Daddy, last guy at the bar, last guy off the ice at practice, and that's how he was. I remember leaving the practice rink in Denver, being like, I'm yelling at him like, Fact Daddy, fucking lunch, let's go here, buddy. So his work ethic has never changed, and I knew he was a special person, a special player back in those days. And Bears, I want to talk about you. I know last year couldn't have been fun, but you go from being a regular National Leaguer, working power plays, to all of a sudden you're not playing. Like, how did you deal with, because I've been in that situation too. Like, How did you deal with it mentally? How did it motivate you in the off season? Has it made you love the game more now that you kind of went through that, or how'd you handle it, fella?
Yeah. I think the first healthy scratch was, that's a tough one to swallow, probably for your ego and your pride. And, I almost felt a bit embarrassed. And then it comes and goes, and you realize that, like, all your friends you're still your friends. And, it's not just you being a hockey player makes you a good person. So that's important to move by, I think. And then from there, yeah, it was a long year, the second half of the year for myself. I was watching a lot of games from the gym, and I was lucky to be surrounded by a great group of guys who all had my back, and we did have some fun off the ice while I was not playing. So that was a pick me up. But yeah, definitely when July 1 rolled around this year and my phone wasn't ringing, it was a wake up call. It was I thought I'd put together a couple good years, and I had some goodwill in the game, and I'd probably be able to get a second chance, but it just wasn't coming. And that was just started thinking about all the good times, all the dinners on the road, all the playoff games, all the all that stuff, and how quickly it can be gone. And that's kind of when it kicked in that, holy shit, like, I really got to rededicate myself here and have a great summer. And that's what I tried to do, and just kind of, like you said, fell in love with the game a bit again. And first step for me was to come in and make the team, and now my second step will be try to reestablish myself as a full-time guy and get back to making a difference.
Yeah, and Bears, before we get into the hockey talk, obviously you parlayed that PTO into a 1-year deal, and it's great to see you in the league still, obviously a veteran of 800 games, 500-odd points. But I want to go to something, you're sporting a new number this year, you're rocking the 8 car. Now, in previous years, the nickname, TB2s. It's a little bit of a spin-off of TB12. So I got to ask you, brother, is that self-proclaimed, or is that someone give you that along the way?
That was Tyler Ennis. We were walking out for a game when we were playing together in Edmonton, and he goes, "Fucking TB2s, let's go, baby." And I turned back. I'm like, "TB2s?" He's like, "That's good, isn't it?" I like that. And then it just kind of caught on. I was just TB2s after that, and that's I think I'll still be TB2s even though I'm wearing 8.
Yeah, I love that in your IG bio too. You always just have the TB and then the deuce sign twos. It's a crispy little nickname, but also you're going to the 8 car. We were talking about before the show a little bit. You're going to look clean, especially snapping that around, a right shot defenseman, rocking the 4,500 bucket still. It's gonna look good on you, man.
Yeah, I think the thought process there was like, I was going into camp trying to make the team. I'm like, lower numbers usually make the team, so I'm like, grab a low one. We got some good right-handed defensemen wearing 8, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll just try to throw them off a little bit, like some shades of a car out there, maybe. But yeah, I think it looks all right. Little snowman.
Yeah, good call. I went with 74 when I went on my PTO, and I didn't fucking get a one-way. So maybe that's I should have went with number 2 or something, maybe. I'm gonna slid in there. Yeah, 7th defenseman, number 2.
It's easy to chop 74, but number 2, that's like that's your left-handed third pairing shot blocker.
Yeah, you can't cut number 2. O'Brien's a good guy, 7th defenseman. Yeah, we'll keep him. We'll keep him around. Good old number 2.
Exactly.
Bears, I want to talk to you about PTOs because my experience wasn't great. I couldn't be happier for you, but I guess where I'm going, like heading into camp, was Conroy, like, what did you think of your chances going in? Was Connie talking to you? Like, how was the communication heading in for your PTO, Bears?
Yeah, they were great. Connie was great. I didn't actually know him prior, but getting to know him a little bit now. He seems like an awesome guy, straight shooter, just a good human. And then obviously I had some familiarity with the coaches. Ryan Huska and Dan Lambert were my old junior coaches in Kelowna. So I have kind of a long-standing relationship with them, and they were straight with me and said, there's some opportunity here, come in good shape and just do your thing. And I think camp started really well, did well on the fitness testing, played a couple good games, and then they were kind of like, hey, we're just keep going. We really like what you're doing, and we'd like to have you around. So it wasn't like I was kind of hanging on the wire, wondering what was going on. They were pretty open with me.
Yeah, that's great. Because when I went through mine, I was waiting. I'm like coming in, like, this has got to be the day, right? Leave the rink. I'm like, oh, this is not. It's usually like in the NHL, no news is good news, right? But this was like no news is bad news. I'm like, I'm fucking.
Yeah,
I remember
some news.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in one. I'm guaranteed I'm not getting a fucking deal. Like I couldn't have done anything more. I'm in one here, and sure enough, Dale Talon's like, here's a nice 2-way for you. I'm like, fuck the 2-way, Dale. Are you kidding me here? Come on, fella, give me give me $5.75 on a one-way, fella.
I hear you.
And Bears, I wanted to ask you, obviously, with the Calgary Flames this year, it's going to be your first season, and you have some younger players that are maybe due for a breakout year. And we saw a little flash of some skill last night to set a pause on Connor Zary, former 24th overall pick in 2020. He obviously spent some time in the jungle over the years, but he's 23 now. Did you see that set of mitts in preseason a little bit, maybe in some practices? Because he was dancing out there, man. That was river dancing at his finest.
Yeah, and he's a player. Great kid, too. He's been giving me rides home from the airport here and there. Good Sasky boy. Nice set of mitts on him. He does things in practice that, the top-end guys are doing. That goal he scored last night was a big moment and obviously a big play. I've played with some guys who have scored ones like that, and they all go on to be pretty good players. So, like I said, he's a great kid, too. I think goes a long way, and he's got the attitude and the skill and the speed to match. So it'll be fun to see where his ceiling is.
Yeah, Jay Swiss, you're chirping me about Hemsky dancing me. I don't know what Hronek was doing on that fucking play. Bears, you have to comment on that, obviously, but I was just like, Jesus, fella. They just gave him the keys to the city and van, and opening night he gets just danced like that? I'm like, that's tough. That's tough. So, I mean,
well, it happens, buddy. It happens.
It does happen. But Bears, I want to talk to you too about, like Jay Swiss said, you got over 800 games. You're a national leaguer. You go to camp on a PTO. You can't be staying in a hotel, right, fella? So you told me you got a nice Airbnb, something comfy, because a national like yourself, you can't be staying at the Westin during training camp.
No, yeah, I sorted out a Airbnb, a nice little spot here in a good area in Calgary, and whether I was coming for a few weeks at camp and heading home or staying for the year, I definitely wanted to be comfortable and found a nice little spot.
Yeah, and Bears, I wanted to tag that in your camp. Like, you obviously had a good camp, but were you trying to did you try to keep it simple? Were you trying to do, like, what was your mindset heading in? Because I play with you, and everyone knows you got offensive ability. You can make plays. You can work the power play. But were you trying to keep it simple, or what was your mindset heading in?
No, not really. I think I was just, I knew I came in good shape, so I had the confidence in kind of my body and the skating, and I just came in and just played hockey and kind of let my instincts go and, tried to – I didn't want to play scared and not – bring something to the table. So I was trying to jump in and enjoying the rush. And obviously on the power play, when I was getting chances, I was trying to walk the blue and make some plays. So, I didn't want to come in and tiptoe around and play scared and have regrets leaving. So I just came in with confidence. Obviously it's a league I've played a lot of good matches in. So I just kind of leaned on that and the fact that I was in good shape and, obviously played well, but, yeah, it was nice to extend the career a little bit.
Yeah, before I turn it over to Jay Swiss, did you throw any backhand sauces in camp? Tell me you went to the backhand a few times. A little backhand sauce to the middle, hit the center?
I must have.
little middle slip.
Yeah, that's deeply ingrained from our first-year-olds. If when in doubt, backhand up the gut.
Yeah.
Right to the nipple, but TB2 is, I mean, from every guy I know in hockey and every guy that's played with you, you're one of the more popular guys in the league. I just think it's your charisma, just your sense of humor and different things. And one guy I got to spend a little bit of time with was Brayden Schenn, and I think you're a good buddy of his. And I just wanted to ask you, because I remember Schenner was working out in St. Louis one summer, and he, I was there just as one of the pigeons on an ELC trying to make the team and basically just, doing whatever I could to maybe make the team. And he was there. He just got traded from Philadelphia. I think he left one weekend and he was doing an annual trip. I think it was with you, maybe Sid, Nate Dogg. So is that four ball still getting together every summer in terms of doing a trip, maybe playing some golf? Because talk about being in some elite company, my friend.
Yeah, we did. We started that in 2014 or 15 after Worlds. We went to the Film Fest in Cannes and the Grand Prix in Monaco and had a boat, and Sid kind of hooked us up, and we just had a blast for about 10 days, and we were like, hey, we might as well keep this thing going. So, we did a golf trip, every year for about 6 years, and then a few of us started having kids and getting married. So that has, the last 2 summers, we've done bachelor parties and weddings. So they've kind of taken up the time, but we're definitely, we're plotting to get back to it here shortly.
Jay Swiss, I was up in Santa Monica back in the day, and this fucking nice little Sprinter van pulls up or whatever, and then fucking out comes Brayden Schenn. And then I'm like, holy fuck, there's Tyson Barrie, McKinnon, Crosby. I'm like, you guys got Gretzky and Lemieux on there too, or who else is coming off this fucking – who else you got back there, boys? I'm like, You guys are just coming back from the Lynx Bears. Remember that?
Yeah. No, those are always fun trips. And little Kraz, he knows how to roll professionally. He does things right, and it's fun to tuck into his back pocket and just kind of let him lay it out for us, and we just provide some laps and have a good time.
Yeah, speaking of doing things right, Bears, you obviously played in Toronto. You played in Edmonton. You're used to the Canadian media, but I saw a great interview with you the other day about, you're talking about how Calgary offered you a PTO, and you're like, fuck that, no PTO, and then you're like, I had to circle back the wagons there, and and the people laugh. Like, now that you're, into a veteran, is the media something, do you enjoy it because you're good at it? Is it something that you're going to embrace now that you're back in Canada with the media around you every day?
Yeah, I think hockey is such a great sport, and I think sometimes it gets a bit of a bad rep for just being a little bit boring and, not a type of personality. So, and we know that's not true. There's so many good personalities in the game, like you two donkeys. So it's just, for me, media is one of those things where I think it's just, they appreciate it and people appreciate it when you're just kind of raw and honest and real, and obviously not doing anything too ridiculous. But I don't think there's anything wrong with giving them a little inside peek at what is actually going on.
100%.
Yeah, and one guy I wanted to mention, speaking of personalities, you mentioned him earlier, was the best to ever do it, has called it a career. I got to meet him a little bit, Bears, when I was in Edmonton for the Stanley Cup Final, doing some different things. Obviously had an event there at Greta. The Chili one sponsored it. And Tyler Ennis, I mean, can you just touch on not only how silky of a player he was, but I didn't know how big of a character he was. You were just talking about guys that kind of hide behind the shadow a little bit. I was sitting at a table with him for probably 20 minutes, and man, I was just like, the one-liners he was dropping, it was just, I thought I was funny maybe, and this guy was sitting there, it's like, holy fuck, he's unbelievable.
He's an outlandish human being. Obviously, hats off, great career for a lot of heart. Great. His highlight reel is like low-key right up there. He's, he was a great player and a great teammate. But man, is he funny. He just gets you giggling. And he's so quick and smart and funny, but then he just gets so bombed and does like ridiculous shit. You're like, shit. We hosted a Chili Ones party at Greta, a little lodge party, and he's part of the Chili Ones team. We ended up getting kicked out because the security guy comes over, hey man, could you please put your shirt back? Yeah, sure thing. Guy turns around, shirt right off again. Hey, we haven't walked them out. They're looking at me like I'm going to do something. I'm just laughing. I'm like, no, take them away. I don't care.
Way to represent the company. Way to set the tone. Tarp off, got kicked out. It's my kind of team. I like that. It's my kind of team. Hey, Bear, speaking of characters, Kuzmenko, this kid in Cowtown who couldn't play under Rick Tocchet, which is fine. He comes to Calgary, lots of skill, but he seems like a beauty. Is he as funny as he seems when I see this stuff on social media?
Yeah, he's entertaining. I'm just kind of getting to know him. Obviously, during camp, there's lots of guys flying around. I'm not even sure he knew who I was or anything. So now that we're on the same team, maybe we'll get to know each other a little bit. But yeah, he's just a fun-loving guy and good personality. His English is just okay. So it's entertaining. But what a set of hands, what a shot. He can fly. So I think he tucked 40 in Van the 1 year. So obviously he's got a lot of upside, and he looks like he's in great shape and going to help our team a lot.
Yeah, I got to ask you about another one of your teammates, my boy, Weegsy, baby. I think you guys are going to get along great. You guys are both beauties. You love the game, funny guys. How much time have you spent with Weegsy? I know camp is different groups, and you're in playing exhibition, and you're not. But have you got to know the Weegsy baby a little bit?
Yeah, I have a little bit. And he was, I was immediately drawn to the Weegsy baby because I knew it was highly recommended by you. I hear you talking about him all the time. So, he's just one of those guys where you just get a good energy from. He's obviously a great player and a good dude. You can just tell. He's the boys love him. He's always laughing, smiling, having a good time. Me and Weegsy, we've hung a bit, but I think we're missing probably taking it deep here one night. So we'll line it up. We'll check the schedule.
Yeah, I'm gonna highlight when you play the Ducks. I'll have something lined up for you boys. We'll catch a nice buzz, Bears.
Right.
Take the governor right off it. But Bears, my last question was, you're reunited with a guy that you actually got traded for back in Colorado to Toronto. That is Nazem Kadri. I just wanted you to touch on just how important it is to have a guy like that on the roster, a guy that obviously has won, plays with an edge, can play anywhere in the lineup. He hits, if he fights, if he wants to. he just seems like one of those guys that just brings a lot of the guys, especially the younger players, into the fight. So I just wanted you to touch on Nas and how it's been with him, and has he run anyone in practice, or is he pretty chill? Because that guy, it seems like once the flip switch is a little bit, you want to be looking out for him, especially if you're on the other team.
Yeah, Nas is a gamer, and I've, known Nas from afar for a while, and lots of mutual friends. We obviously got traded for each other, rented each other's places, but he's kind of one of those guys that, I didn't realize how good he was until I got here. Like, I feel like a lot of those good guys, you don't quite understand it until you get to see him every day, and Nas is special, man. He's so shifty. He's got so much patience, sees the ice well, and then on top of that, obviously, he's a gamer. He's not afraid of, he's not shying away from anyone. So, I got a new appreciation, I think, for Nazem Kadri and how he plays and how dynamic he is, and another good guy too. Just he's a guy, plays the game the right way and plays the game off the ice the right way too. He's a good dude.
Yeah. I got to meet him last year, but he plays hard every night, Bears? That's the thing I love about Kadri. Like, every single night, you know what you're going to get him. He's going to play hard. He's going to play physical. Face-off circle, he competes. Like, he just brings it every single night, huh?
100%.
Yeah.
We're just kind of getting into it here, but he was great last night. But then, like I said, even in practice, he absolutely lit me up in practice the day before the whole opener. I was like, third drill of the day, 2-on-2 ×2, worst drill in hockey, and I'm gapping up.
I hate that drill.
Oh, but he goes outside. I just cross over right between my legs, breakaway, and I'm like, oh, he's ready.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, he's a great player, and he's just shift and smart, and his one-on-one ability is better than I thought.
Yeah, and Bears, before the season we were doing a little preview, and I'm hard on the Flames sometimes, Bears, because that's where my kind of career, came to an end there. But everyone's not picking you guys to be very good. What has been the expectations? Are you guys kind of using that? I heard one of the boys say after your win last night, like, yeah, everyone's been shitting on us, so we're going to try to prove people wrong. Is that the mentality right now in the dressing room for the Flames?
100%. I think, like you mentioned, none of the geniuses are picking us to do anything or make the playoffs. You look at our roster. I think our decors. We've got some high end talent. We've got some young guys trying to prove themselves, and we've got good coaching. I think everybody in our room knows what's expected of us. We know what our systems are. We know how we want to play to make us successful. Is it going to be the prettiest thing in the world? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But you know what? We're going to be tough to play against. We're going to play hard, and we're going to have good systems. So. You bring a bunch of good people together with, that sort of recipe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. It's hockey, so you know that.
Yeah.
I like our team, and it's always kind of fun to embrace the underdog.
Yeah, speaking of bringing people together, I haven't talked to you since you got married, but your wedding, first of all, everyone looked fucking sharp. I saw all the pictures on social media. Everyone was looking sharp. You two and your beautiful wife. But what a crew you had. You had just like Smitty and Fact Daddy, and the list goes on. Like, that was an unbelievable crew. That must be a good feeling. I wonder if I'm probably never going to get married, but if I did, I wonder who would show up, to be honest with you. When that many guys show up for you, Bears, that's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, obviously, it's part of the cool thing about, would I have loved to play my whole career in Denver? Sure. But, obviously McCarr came in and kicked me right out of there. And
don't feel bad about that. Yeah, don't feel bad about that.
Yeah. So it's nice to get to bounce around and play with different guys. And, there's so many good people in this league, and some of them you hate when you don't know them, and you meet them and they're your best friends. So I've been fortunate to bounce around, I think, and just meet a bunch of great people. And was very grateful they all made the journey out to come celebrate a weekend of just complete wagonry with us on the island. It was a lot of fun to have everyone out there.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, Bears, listen, buddy, you're a lot of fun. Couldn't be happier for you, buddy. Stay healthy. Enjoy the National League, buddy. She's the best league in the world. And you deserve it because you're the ultimate glue guy, buddy. So good luck and snap it around.
Well, I appreciate that, Obes. And before we go, I'm going to shamelessly plug a band because I know you're a big music guy. Me and the Fact Daddy, Paul Bissonette, a little group out of Victoria, we kind of put together a little management for this band called Tenfei.
Okay.
So they're coming out with a new album. They got 2 beautiful albums out right now. Give them a listen. I'll send you the link, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. A little SoCal vibe for you. You're going to like it.
Hey, listen, when it comes to music, I know you and the Fact Daddy know what's up, so I appreciate that. And Bears, I appreciate taking the time, buddy. Congrats on being a father. Congrats on staying in the league, buddy, and enjoy every second of it, eh?
Yeah, I sure will. Thanks, fellas.
Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Jay Swish, my man, Tyson Barrie. People wondering what a glue guy is. That is a glue guy right there. Couldn't be happier for him. He is a National Leaguer. You know how I feel about PTOs. I fucking hate them. good for him and taking the time. He's our type of guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a true pro. One of those guys that can just be in a locker room, you hang out with on and off the ice. One of those guys that just has a nice charisma and vibe to him, Obi, and good things happen to good people. I mean, he's played over 800 games, 500 points. He gets that 1-year deal in Calgary, extends his career. So just happy for him. Awesome to chat with him. He's a guy that definitely, if we were on the same decor, us three, holy jumping fella, that would have been a time.
Yeah, listen, how great is it to have hockey back, right? You got a good-looking single guy like yourself. You can just watch the games tonight, you can go out for dinner, do whatever you want, but it's nice to have hockey back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, like I said, I like watching the NFL. I like watching all walks of sports, but there's nothing like the National Hockey League Globes, and even just being in the building the other night in Utah and going to games and watching on TV. Man, it's hard out there, and it's so fun to watch, and I just love it. So it's awesome to be back and able to talk to you about important games that actually mean something, too.
Yeah. No, Jay Swiss, you've been unbelievable, buddy. You're an asset to Missin Curfew. Listen, I got Jack White tomorrow night, or this will be Fella Friday. Tonight, I got Jack White in L.A. Have you ever seen Jack White live, buddy? He absolutely shreds it. Crispy rice, spicy tuna. It's just like it's on.
No, I haven't. He tickles a six string. Is it just a straight electric, or is he going acoustic?
He does
both, or?
He does both. Mainly electric, I believe. Yeah, mostly electric. But he's just crispy and sends it. And then I got my USC boys, Schmoodsy, Pick, Danny Lane, Tipton, Hempy, USC versus Penn State. So I got a busy weekend. More importantly, how's your weekend shaping up? What do you got? You getting out there and mingling it up or what?
Yeah, I actually have a professional tryout in town right now. We'll leave it at that, so it's going well. But on Friday, I'm going to wrap that up. And then Saturday, I'll probably take it easy. Actually, leading into next weekend in Kansas City, I'm going to be a pro. But Sunday, me and the Heat Daddy are hitting the road. We're going into the jaw of L.A. We got a couple meetings lined up, some different things there. So who knows what we're going to get up to on Sunday in L.A. And then I'll be back in Scottsdale here on Monday or Tuesday, and then we're going to KC, baby.
Yeah, well, listen, let me know if you need anything in L.A., whatever, dinner reservation, whatever, anything you need, I can help you out there. It's been a while. I used to have fucking a lot of hookups in L.A., but I can help you out, buddy. So, hey, safe travels. Jay Swiss, I appreciate you. Kyle Conway, Max Pickup, Hall Pass Media, thank you very much. That was Missin Curfew. Fala.